y'all. I didn't think I was gonna be able to record this video. Oh my goodness. Last night was a little fiasco. This morning the camera doesn't want to work, y'all, but we finally got it. So welcome back to my channel, Authentically Audrey BTV, aka AABTV, and we are about to get into this Abbott Elementary episode 6, Crazy Zombies. So the show opens up with a rainy, thunderstormy type of Halloween day. The teachers are all dressed up in costumes. The students are all dressed up in costumes. And we have a conversation between Jacob and the janitor, Mr. Johnson, about this haunted, basement at Abbott Elementary with the this janitor, and it's a ghost of the janitor, and it kind of had our friend Jacob spooked. And Mr. Johnson told him this story about it, and he just was just like, everybody knows about it, and just walks off, leaving Jacob just shook, basically. And for the remainder of the episode, he was jumpy. He was just like, he wasn't here for it. And Mr. Johnson knew what he was doing, and he picked the right person for it. So after that conversation with them two, we see all the kids coming into school, and Janine's dressed up as, I think, James Harden. She had the beard, the braids, and we see some of the other teachers. I know that Melissa and her assistant Ashley, they were both dressed alike or whatever, so Melissa was kind of like ticked off about that. But Greg was a pilot from some movie, and kind of the running joke of the whole episode was people calling him other things besides the character that he dressed up as. And Ava was Storm. And I didn't tell y'all this, but Jacob, he was like a burglar or whatever. Like I said, the beginning of the episode for me was kind of wonky because my TV wasn't working out. So I had my mama do a video call until I could get my stuff working. So if I missed anybody else's costume or who they said they were, I forgot, and my bad. But anyways, y'all, so all the kids are coming in. They got candy. They got their parents dropping them off with candy for this big old party. And the whole thing was that none of the kids were supposed to have any candy during the day. They had to wait till after school, because we all know when kids get candy, things can go awry. They get super hyper, and it's hard to calm down a bunch of first, second, and third, fourth, fifth, pre-K, kindergarten kids. And so Janine's welcoming the students in, and there is a mom that we were introduced to from a mom of one of the students last season, and she came, and I believe she dropped off her son, and she's a pretty girl. She said she was a bad bee for Halloween, but everybody always calls her a bad bee anyway, because she just keeps herself together. And she talks to Janine for a little while, and then hands her a bag of candy for this Halloween party, and a little special gift for Greg, and tells Janine to hand it to him. And she's like, oh, okay, no problem. And then after that, right after that, Janine runs into an old friend of hers, and she finds out that one of the students that Janine has is this lady's nephew. And they're chopping it up. They're talking about, I heard about your breakup with Tariq, and have you talked to this person, that person, how it is with catching up. And she asked Janine if she was gonna go to someone's party, but Janine was kind of brushing it off, no, I have other plans with my friends. No, I don't want to, and she was just basically Janine was just I really don't know her like that. I know her, but not like that. She's kind of like an associate, so I really don't know, how she is outside of, of here in the school. So she just played her to the left, and she was just no, I'll catch up with you later. Nice to see you. And another thing that the lady said about her nephew was that he did not play about his candy, and throughout the episode, we see why she said that. So after they get all the kids settled in, they have this big room where our good friend Ashley, the assistant, is supposed to be watching. They're, like I said, it's a free day. Everybody's dressed up. You know how it is in elementary school. We got the candy. We had the parties, you know, after we learn or, you know, teach a lesson for a little while. Then the rest of the day is party time, right? So Ashley is in there in the room, just, you know, supposed to be supervising, supposed to be watching the kids, because like I said before, they do not want the kids to have any candy until the end of the school day. And while all the teachers are dropping off the candy for the party, talking about, you know, other things going on, and in the day, Janine walks in and she drops it off the candy, and then she has a note that the mom, I believe her name is Amber, she gave to Greg. She opens it before giving it to Greg, and it's like a little gift and a little note that says like something sweet for you, or a little something extra sweet for you, something like that. And she puts her phone number on there, and we see that Janine is kind of like ticked off, and I was like, she was a little bit worried. She was kind of like rolled her eyes, like, and I know it's because she likes Greg, and I don't know, like, is she wanting to shoot her shot, like, whatever, but she just clearly as they could show us, Janine was kind of perturbed about, you know, that mom giving Greg the number. And so back to Ashley. There's this thunderstorm going on. There's like a bunch of chaos in the hallway, a bunch of chaos in the classroom, and Ava comes out like, what the heck is going on? Then out comes Janine. She's like, what the heck is going on? Greg is trying to get, you know, corral all these kids together. They're just running amok in the school. Wow, unbeknownst to them, Ashley, which we all know is sometimes, you know, in her own little world, or majority of the time in her own little world now that we've gotten to know her, she's on her phone. She's supposed to be protecting the candy. She's supposed to keeping the candy away from the kids. She's supposed to be the bodyguard, basically. And homegirl was on her phone. And now we all know that we cannot take our eyes off of children for more than a second, for real, because they will get into stuff so fast. And once you finally once you finally get back focused on them, all hell has broke loose. The kids have candy. They are getting passing it out. They are just hyped up, and all the teachers was like, oh my gosh. And it was so funny because they was like, what do you have? What do you have? And like the kids is like spitting out candy because they know that they are caught and they're not supposed to have it. Then there's like rappers, like a trail of rappers just following in the hallway, just going everywhere. So they're trying to follow it, trying to figure out like, who is this person that was able to get all this candy and pass it out to the kids, knowing they're not supposed to have it to the end of the day. The kids was wild, y'all. They was so wild. So wild. And don't y'all know that because Ashley, you know, it's kind of like the culprit. She's kind of like the one that was responsible for it. Don't y'all know she left? She said, I can't handle chaos, so I'm out of here. And homegirl dipped and left them teachers to fend for themselves with all of them kids who have been hype on candy, running, climbing the walls, sliding on the floor, jumping around, screaming and hollering. I was just like, oh my gosh, y'all, we cannot ever take our eyes off the kids, because you just never know, you know, what's gonna happen. So in the midst of them all trying to get things together and figure out, you know, who's the child that stole the candy, 1, 2, like, what we gonna do with all these hype kids. So they all decide to take the kids and put them into the gym, right? So after they get into the gym, after they decide to work together as a team, so we have, you know, our faves, Janine, Greg, Barbara, Melissa, Jacob, and Ava. We see that Janine and Greg get a little alone time together, and she gives him the little gift or the little note from Amber, and he's like, oh, okay. And then, they have this little chit chat back and forth about, she was like, are you gonna call her? And he's like, I don't know, she seems cool, I don't really know. And then they talk about, plans and activities and parties that they plan to go to outside of work, after school. And they talk about single life and how that's going. And Greg is like, I'm sure your friends are trying to hook you up with people, I'm sure you've been hanging out with them. And she's kind of like going along to get along. And she's just like, are your friends making you go out? Are your friends doing this and that? And he tells her, yeah, they've been trying to get me out, I've been trying to meet new people, I have plans to go to a party after school, I'm sure that you have plans. And Janine's kind of, like I said, like going along to get along, brushing it off, but still feeling away because she's trying to, she's kind of having some like realization, I guess, that she doesn't do much outside of school. She's having a realization that, maybe he's gonna go and get into another relationship, and she's just being silent, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, oh my gosh, girl, if you do not tell him that you like him, if you do not shoot your shot, I am going to scream. Like, because you could tell, like, her body language, the way that she was questioning him, like, she just wanted to get some more information to see if he's kind of like interested in this person, because I feel like, she's interested in him, and y'all can't tell me no different. So once they get all the kids in the gym, the teachers gather in the cafeteria to try to figure out again who this student was that got a hold of all this candy and was passing it out. So Jacob lifts up like the little serving window, and he looks into the gym / cafeteria. Those who work in elementary school, y'all know what I'm talking about. He looks in there, and they're all just like, what are we gonna do? Like, we got them all in here, but they still acting crazy. Like, what? How can we handle this? So Jacob takes it upon himself to think that he can handle all of these children. He goes in there in the most hilarious way, and it was just like he was just like a fresh piece of meat. And the kids all turn and they start just attacking him. They throwing balls at him, like they're like, get him. And it was just like a whole mess. So because of this, the teachers that were still in the kitchen were just like, yo, we gotta figure out like which one of us can handle it, so we can go and search the hallways and the classrooms to figure out where this kid is. And so here comes Ava in her storm outfit, and she's like, no, I can handle this. I've been ready to throw a ball at a kid for a while now. I've been prepared for this. And so she gets the ball and she starts throwing it, because y'all know I've heard all these stories. I'm pretty sure you've heard of stories too, of teachers trying to get kids back by playing dodgeball. Because that's the whole point of the game. You can do it. So let's just say Ava did her thing. So as they're walking and they are going through the hallway, the men, Jacob and Greg, Barbara decided that they were going to all split up. So the ladies were together, Janine and Melissa and Barbara, and Jacob and Greg are supposed to go down into this basement, this haunted basement that nobody really, cared about for real, except Jacob, with this ghost of a janitor. And when Barbara told them two that they were having to go down there, he was just like, oh my gosh, like I said, shaking in his boots. He was not here for it, but he was with Greg, so he was just like, okay, whatever, let's go. So they go downstairs and they hear all these, it's just like Jacob is hearing all these noises. Any little thing he hears, he's just like, it's the janitor. And Greg is like, look, bro, we're down here to find the child. Like, there's no such thing as a ghost janitor. And then they see this image. Now, for a split second, Greg is kind of spooked. And once the image comes to, it's just Mr. Johnson with a mop bucket. And when he turns around to see where Jacob went to let him know, oh, it's nobody but Mr. Johnson, Jacob done left. He left. He wasn't staying around. He was out of there. And so then during the episode, like I said, everybody was dressed up in costumes, even the children. And there was a little boy who was dressed as Mr. Johnson, the janitor. And so throughout the episode, he was saying, you know, his little Mr. Johnson's little sayings. He was had his little moments in the confessional. It was very, very cute. Super, super cute for him to be dressed like that. So because, you know, all the teachers are in the hallway or whatever, they're looking through classrooms, they're talking, they're wanting to know like how all this even happened under their noses. And in the meantime, Janine is talking to Melissa and Barbara, asking them, you know, if they had plans for Halloween, or they had plans after school or whatever, or after work. And they were just, you know, running off the details that they had to do after work or whatever. And Janine was kind of like, you know, well, I don't really have friends, you know, outside of you all. And Melissa kind of threw a little shade and was like, we told you we not really your friends. But we all know that they are. And they basically just asked Janine, you know, like, why aren't you hanging with your friend? And she flat out told them, just basically she don't want to meet new people after the breakup with Tariq. She's just been having a hard time feeling like starting over. And I'm pretty sure, you know, her friends was his friends, or, you know, he was her only friend. So her trying to step out and you know, have these new interactions with people, it's kind of scary. And they just basically told her, you know, you can't just live your life like that, like you're young. You need to go out and have fun. How are you going to meet new people if you're afraid to go anywhere, if you keep turning down invitations? And so the light bulb, of course, went out in Janine's head that she needs to let go of her fears and start over. And so as they're talking about this in the hallway, the little mini Mr. Johnson, he walks into the janitor closet, and lo and behold, guess who is in there? Baby Thor. And who is Baby Thor? The little boy who was one of Janine's old friend's nephew from the beginning of the episode, who didn't play about the candy, y'all. And he done ran amok in the school. He done caused all of this chaos because he loves candy so much. He done took over the school. He's making announcements and having these teachers just chasing candy trails and chocolate handprints. And the little mini Mr. Johnson was basically like, you know, I got to turn you in, right? Like, and he's giving all these threats. And basically he just realized that the gig is up. He's been caught. And I was cracking up. I was just like, I know some kids who could probably pull something like that off right now today. And they not even in the 1st or 2nd grade. They're in pre-K. Alright, y'all. So after they found out who the student was and they were able to, you know, get all the kids back together, send them on their way after school, Janine runs into her old friend again, you know, Baby Thor's auntie, and basically was like, hey, is the party still going on? Like, I think I'm gonna, you know, take up your invitation and go. And the girl was like, yeah, girl. And then Janine was like, you think I know anybody there? She was like, girl, you know me, and that's all that matters. Like, come and have fun. So Janine felt pretty good about it because, like I said before, her revelation was that even though her and Tariq broke up and she's so used to just always being around him and maybe his friends or their mutual friends, it's time for her to face her fears. It's time for her to embark on new beginnings and go out and have some fun, meet some new people, and not just isolate herself or, you know, try to be up under her coworkers or whatever, which is nothing wrong with that. But again, outside friends, like Greg had mentioned in the episode, you know, what about your friends after work? And I think that question just, well, not after work, but outside of work. And I think that question just kind of like sparked her, like, her aha moment, I guess, because she was just like, I don't even really have any of those. But she's the invitation to the party is going to be her, like I said, her embarking on finding those new friends. And then after that, we see that Greg sparked a little conversation with the student's mom, Amber, in the hallway, and Janine kind of like looked and smirked and then kept it moving. And then Jacob just kept on trying to convince the teachers in the break room at the end of the day that he really did see the ghost, and that he knows he's not tripping, and everybody was like, yeah, whatever. And then they walk out of the break room, and Jacob hears all these noises and just starts freaking out, and then we see who's been messing with him this entire time by the end of the episode. And then after that, we see that Ava is still after school. All the kids are gone, all the teachers are leaving, and she's standing outside of Janine's classroom talking, making a little conversation. And Greg walks up and is like, school's over, all the kids are gone, like, what you doing here? And she was just like, what you want to do? Like, you want to go party? He was like, no. But what he didn't know was that Janine ended up going to this party, and she was getting changed into a different costume because she was James Harden during the day, but after school she changed into this costume that Ava let her borrow, and homegirl looked good. She had Greg gagging because he was literally speechless, and he kind of looked at her like with a different set of eyes. Like, he's probably just used to the quirky Janine, the goofy Janine. But when she stepped up at that classroom, he was like, hold on now. Plus, on top of that, he's probably used to her, just being alone or being by herself and, not making a big to-do about plans after work and all of that. But now he kind of looked at her like, you going out? Like, so now he's like probably thinking like, what's she getting into? Because I don't care what y'all say, I know they like each other, and maybe they're gonna end up like trying to talk to each other, trying to have a little relationship. I don't know, but all I know is that Greg was literally speechless, and he was looking at her like, dang, she looked good. And Janine felt good, and I was glad that she was able to let go of her fears. Because I'd have been there, done that, afraid to meet new people, only want to hang out with the same core people, not really branching out and getting to know other people, just because, you don't know how people are going to react towards you. They may judge you, they may talk about you, they may not want you around. Like, it's just weird meeting new people or making new friends, but I was glad that she was able to step outside of her comfort zone and do it. And this episode again was hilarious. Some kids was bad. Reminded me of some kids that I know would do the exact same thing for some candy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Sorry that I'm just kind of like all over the place. I had some errands to run, so I had to come into the second studio, which is my car. And I will see you all on the next week's recap of Abbott Elementary. Remember to tell a friend, and y'all have a good day.